Welcome to this week's IGTV. Today I'm talking about a little dab won't do you. Why it is so important with parenting techniques to not be trying to learn all the things and do all the things to make the kind of changes that you want to see in your teen, and that's actually making things worse. Good morning, my name is Allie Payne. I'm a certified life coach, certified relationship systems coach. I've been working with parents of teens for 16 years to help them end the painful disconnection, baffling blow-ups and stressful silences, and create lasting relationships built on mutual trust and respect. I have been deathly sick this week, so I'm going a little slow, and it's probably why I look like I'm going to a funeral and I'm in my old lady hair. So just be a little soft with me today. Thank you so much for joining in. Okay, so today what I want to discuss is all of you gorgeous, caring, and courageous parents who are out there actually trying to break cycles and do the change and learn new stuff and knowing and be curious that there are more updated parenting techniques that we have available to us, and that there's lots of stuff that we can use, and that the outdated techniques probably aren't serving you the way that you want them to. And so bless you for wanting it to be different and trying. And I think this is one of I'm doing this today even though I feel like poo, because when am I writing a book? It's gonna come. It's just, thank you. Just first of all, thank you for the question. If you're here on Instagram, I'd love a follow. If you're watching on my free Facebook community, It Takes a Village, welcome. If you're on YouTube, I'd love a subscribe. I'm doing this video today because I am so sick and tired of hearing about caring and courageous parents like you who want to make a different path in parenting. I'm not saying any shade against your parents or that you had a terrible childhood, or that's not it. But you want to make a change. You know there are updated parenting techniques that we have been proven, for 20, 30 years, 40 years, and you are interested in that, and so you're going after it. And then I get these messages. I've already tried everything, it's not working. I already tried that. No, my teen doesn't like that. And it gets to the point where I can barely get the sentence typed, and then this gorgeous parent says, no, I already tried that, it didn't work. All right, no, that doesn't work either. No, already tried that, it doesn't work. And I believe you. What I would like for today, just for this short little time here, if I can do this without dying coughing, is for you to suspend judgment about what does and doesn't work for just 1 second, okay? Because in my experience, anything that I see or hear other people doing or espousing, like, oh, this is so great, oh yeah, it totally worked, you should do this, and then I go in and I try it, and I sincerely try, and it doesn't work for me, I get defensive. Because I have a fear story in my head that somehow I'm not smart enough. There must be something wrong with me. My confidence drops. And so I'm less and less open to hearing about any more things, to going back and revisiting some of the things I've already tried. I'm just not open to it because I'm like, love that journey for you, but it's not working for me. So that's why I want to do this video, because I think you deserve better as a parent. And I think this is happening way too often. And it's taking gorgeous parents like yourself, and it's doing nothing but deplete your confidence in really well-intended efforts that could work if you just had a few different things going on for you, because it's not like you weren't trying, okay? All right, so let's dive in. Okay, So generally speaking, what this looks like is a couple things. Maybe you've been parenting your child for, I don't know, 8, 10, maybe even 12 years. And all of a sudden, I am having a hot drink here. So I'm not going to answer that question right now because I just need to stay on track with this one. So what it looks like is you're raising your child for like 8 to 10 years or so, okay? And all of a sudden, like overnight, like a switch flips. Wow, tired brain. Like a flip just switches, and they're different. They're different. Their personality is different. They are spicy. They're talking to you in ways that you have never made okay. They are, and perhaps being just a little, maybe even subtly, they're rude, talking back. They have to have the last word. They are doing things that they know they shouldn't be doing. Maybe they've started lying. Maybe they've started hanging out with kind of like a sketchy crowd. And perhaps more importantly, instead of having like a friendly conversation or a friendly relationship with you, they're kind of like shutting you out. They just want to they don't want anything to do with family time. That's lame. And so they just want to sit in their bedrooms. They want to be on their phones, and they'd way rather be with friends. They have no interest in being with you. And that, let's face it, that feels really hurtful. It feels like a giant R rejection, right? As a parent, it feels really hurtful and rejection. It also can feel really scary because you're like, excuse me, what happened to you? And what happened to your brain? Because this is not okay. And so there's some fear factor involved there as well, about, if this can happen overnight, this kind of change, like I got to keep my foot on the gas. Like I got to really, pay attention here, because obviously like maybe I missed something or something happened in their life. Maybe you blame it on their new friends, that this change that's happening them. And P.S., just a little secret. It's not you and it's not them. Their brain's been hijacked by hormones, basically. Okay, so they're going through puberty, and it does actually, fundamentally, it can change their personality style. It lowers their confidence by 30%. They do seek out different behaviors. They have a need for novelty and risk-taking, along with belonging, which they don't really know the understanding of belonging, so they might seek that out in some sketchy friend groups. So this is all normal parts of adolescence that no one told you was coming, but also doesn't mean they're broken and you failed, okay? So generally that happens, okay? Something like that happens. Or maybe, it's school. Maybe they used to be engaged and relatively enthusiastic, or at least agreeable about school, and they would go and, find, like, maybe they were straight A's, or maybe they at least, like, did the homework and they got the grades and they did that stuff, and now they're like, can't make me. And now they're like school anxiety, maybe school avoidance, they're skipping school, they're not handing in assignments. Maybe it's school, okay? That could be happening with a change of schools, could be happening from like younger elementary into junior high, or junior high into senior high. That's also very common. And so again, what you do, your reaction, of course, is to you start asking around, you start pouring hours into more books. You're like, okay, parenting books, and you're looking up parenting books. You're getting them on Audible or your Kindle, or you're going to your library. You're getting the books. You're borrowing them from friends. You're reading all the books at night. Like you're listening to podcasts when you're driving and when you're cleaning or when you're doing dinner or whatever you're doing. When you're on the treadmill, because you're like, I gotta figure this out. I gotta get the information. And maybe now your social media scrolling, instead of being kind of like brain candy, is now like, no. I'm gonna focus in on the parenting stuff. I'm gonna and then you find like crazy ladies on the internet who are trying not to die of a cold. And so, what you're getting I just want to say this for sure. What you're getting in a lot of those books, most of them nowadays, I would say, a lot of the books, a lot of the social media, a lot of the podcasts, is good stuff. I'm going to venture to say in 2023 that you're getting a lot of the good stuff. Okay? It's even backed by science, a lot of it. Whether the person who wrote the book discovered it or has done the research on it. So that's all good, right? Okay. So you are committed and you are going in and you're going to learn because you know, unfortunately, because nobody told you this, that the parenting strategies that you used to use with your child before the hormone hijack of their brain are frustratingly not working. Not only are they not working, they're actually creating even more escalated blow-ups, more shutting out, and that is also like super hard and painful. Like hard, like in a way that's hard to describe. Because when your parenting strategies that worked for 8 to 10 years aren't working now, you generally are going to do two things. You're either going to say, okay, well, my teen is just turning into a bad apple. My child, it can start like as young as 8. Excuse me. My child is bad, like bad, rotten, because what worked is not working anymore. Or you turn it towards yourself and you say, like, what is wrong with me? Like, what's going on here? Like, why isn't this working anymore? And then again, your stress goes up, but your confidence goes down. So that, again, very, very sad. It's very sad, really hard. Okay. And so that's what ends up happening. And so when you are spending hours on social media and podcasts and reading all the books and whatever, you probably have a pen and paper. I don't know. You're like, because you're committed to this. I know, that's why you're here. So you're like making the notes of what should work and what you should be doing. I love the shoulds. Not. But like what tools, okay? Like don't should all over yourself. Don't do that. Don't should all over yourself. And so you're making notes of what will work. And maybe you go share it with your partner. Maybe you're sitting with a friend and you're like, okay, let's go over all the, like, give me the deets. Like, let's do this. And you're developing your kind of your own playbook, right? Cool. And then you wake up one day and you're like, okay, that's it. I'm going to do this because I am not having this rude, defiant, moody, entitled, self-centered, grumpy, defensive teen in my house. So that's a no. And so you start trying these new strategies that you have invested a lot of time and effort to gather and to actually like understand, right? So you start using these strategies. And you even, unfortunately, in books and on social media, etc., you see people saying, oh, I use this and it's amazing and now everything is miraculous and we're besties, right? So you go trying this one strategy that comes like so highly recommended. And the first or second time you do it, your teen's like, what now? Why are you talking like that? Which is really normal, right? And you know that. So you're like, nah, I won't be put off that easy. And so you try it a couple more times, as best as you can, right? And maybe it worked once or twice, or maybe you got kind of like a 50% return on investment, maybe 25, but it's not actually working the way that you want it to. And that is super, super defeating. So what do? You go back to your book, pick another one. Like, it's like you've got a curio cabinet, right? Like a medicine cabinet. And you're like, okay, that one didn't work. Fine. Oh yeah. Well, I'm going to try this one. I'm going to try this one. I'm going to try this one. And so what you end up doing is you're dabbling in a little bit of everything, like multiple, probably great strategies. You're dabbling in everything, trying a little bit of everything. And it's like trying to bake a cake with a dozen different recipes at once. And so what happens is you likely, and of course, end up with a story that, number one, either these strategies are like just kind of full of hot air, like people marketing and selling you stuff on the internet. You're like, okay, well, apparently you have to be a psychologist or something to make these work, because they don't work. And or you say, okay, well, something's wrong with me. Something must be wrong. Because I'm not getting it. Like, this isn't working. This is full of horseshit and it's just not working. People are touting lies. And maybe the third option is you double down on your teenager with what you know did work, which is probably an outdated parenting model, but at least it's what you've got. And so you double down on that, because all these other little buffet of things, medicine cabinet of things you're trying, didn't work. What happens for your teenager is they become very confused. Now, this is really critical to understand. Your teenager needs consistency more than anything else in the teen years, because their self-esteem drops up to 30%, which I said. They are almost always in a mild state of fight or flight. Their brain is regularly emotionally hijacked. And these are all functions of the physiological brain development in the adolescent years, which is the second and final brain growth stage of the human lifetime. And it is massive. Like, what? Massive. So, I totally lost my train of thought there. Wowza. So it creates confusion for your teen, because the teen brain, probably more, I guess, well, it's similar to the toddler brain development. They don't trust change. Teenagers don't trust change. And so any change that happens in a teen and in a teen's life, in their relationships, particularly like regular relationships, like at home, okay, any change that happens in a teen's life needs to kind of be clearly marked so that they see the change. You like give them like speed bump coming, you know, you can be like, hey, listen, I realize some XYZ, hasn't been working. I love you. I don't know what's not working, but I'm going to be doing some things a little differently because I want that for my relationship with you. And I get it might sound weird. It might feel weird. I'm just letting you know that I'm invested in being the parent that you need and learning. So I'm just giving you a fair warning. So even just something like that for your teenager sets them up a little bit more so that when you are arriving, like talking differently or doing differently, they're like, because the minute that they are afraid of change, they will push back against the change. And that's actually a normal human reaction, but probably more so for the teen, right? So they start to not trust. Isn't that weird? Here you are trying proven, probably science-backed strategies, but you're doing a little bit of everything. So you're actually lowering trust with your teen because they're not exactly sure. They need you to be their solid footing, like so bad as a teen. They need you to be the solid footing. And all of a sudden their perception, I want to make that clear, their perception of you is wishy-washy, unclear, and maybe even unreliable in a small way. I'm not saying you are, I'm just saying this is their perception. And so they're confused, and so they actually push harder because just like a 2-year-old who pushes and pushes and pushes limits, right? Because what that 2-year-old wants to know is that limit is immovable. And they will push it and push it and push it and push it. And what they're doing is finding what feels safe. Which limits create safety because they know they are immovable. Well, the teen brain does exactly the same. So they're looking for those solid limits and they can't find them. So there's a version kind of like anxiety, kind of insecurity that goes on for your teen, even though one would think that your enemy number, like seriously mortal enemy number one to them, they're actually looking to you to make sure that those limits are solid, but they're not. They're inconsistent, there's confusion, and your teen therefore does not respond to the specific tool that you chose or have tried in the way that you were promised or told or someone else said that they would respond. And so this has you question the tool, question yourself, question your teen, right? Those are your three options. And so I hear this from just amazing parents all the time who are trying the buffet of parenting techniques that are available. And they're spitting that buffet back out at their teen. A little bite of this, a little taste of this, a little dab of this, little sauce, little like, and your teen's like, stop it already, when they already feel like their whole brain, their whole life is just on unequal ground. And they act out more. And I think that is super sucky as a return on your investment for your valuable time and wonderfully intentioned efforts. And I don't want that for you. So I need you to understand that less is more. Okay? This is what you do need to do. Less is more. This is more about don't learn everything at once. That's like, that will literally put you into overwhelm instantly. Why? Don't do that. It makes it hard. Do you know that when the brain is in overwhelm, it increases stress and lowers access to creativity? Why would you do that to yourself? Parenting is already overwhelming. Life is overwhelming. Don't do that. Less is more. So what I would ask you to do is just pick 2 or 3, literally 2 or 3 strategies. Or 2 or 3 small changes. They might be part, excuse me, they might be part of a larger strategy, something you want to change, but you're only going at it 2 or 3 bites at a time. How do you eat the elephant, right? A couple bites at a time. So that your teenager sees you as changing, but there is a consistency within the change that increases trust. Okay? Rather than lowers it. And it actually begins to build respect, because what they learn, and this is part of the teen and toddler brain too, is when you will love them compassionately and firmly. I'm saying both. They exist at the same time, compassionately and firmly, through their very, very challenging teen years. And are not immovable. I won't say that, but you do have your firm, like, they know where you stand on certain things, and you will hear them, you'll listen to them. Yeah, that sucks. I'm sorry you're not getting your way. I know it must be hard. You know, I'm sure you want it to be different, whatever, but you're not changing. You can empathize, but you're not going to like just be a doormat. It doesn't say welcome on your head. You create respect. You build respect, because when you're a pushover and parents say, well, it didn't work because my teenager didn't like it. I'm like, well, why did you think they would like it? Did you think that they were going to like another limit in their life? No. No. Just because your teen didn't like it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It means that there's a way to deliver that limit and empathize with them not liking the limit while you hold said limit or line or like whatever it is, right? Okay, so in order to actually see the transformative results that you can get from a few key things that specifically apply to your situation, your relationship with your teen, your life, you are going to feel overwhelmed and defeated and probably just turn away. And that breaks my heart. That seriously breaks my heart. That's wildly unfair and a misuse of your time and energy. when you are already trying so hard. So I want you to do less is more. Proven tools and a community of support. This is why on my It Takes a Village, right? This is so important. Because part of the reason that this little buffet or try a little bit of everything is also not working is because what you're doing is taking a tool in its generalized state and applying that to your very specific situation. And should the tool work on its own? Yeah, and it does. I'm sure it does. But every relationship dynamic is so different, like so unique and so different, that if you don't have the expert support to really go deep with that one tool in a way that is very specific to your situation, you might not get the results that you're looking for from that one tool. And then you don't see the lasting effects. So then you feel like you're on this wheel where you're constantly trying all these new things and nothing is sticking and you're not seeing any lasting change. So that's another thing, is you just end up in this constant cycle. I don't want that for you. So here is here's what a couple parents told me after they've tried a few of my programs. Okay. Jordan said this: a year ago, I was where you are, trying everything. Now, after focusing on just a couple of Allie's strategies, the change in my home is like night and day. My teen and I are on the same team now. And this is what Samira said. She said, I was the strategy junkie parent. But once I committed to Allie's program, I learned to communicate with my teen in a way I never thought possible. We're not just surviving, we're thriving. Sorry, that was what Samira said. So, if you are ready for less is more, to get more return on your investment of time and effort, okay? So you turn confusion and chaos into clarity and calm. Okay, if you're here on Facebook or YouTube, then I want you to tap the link below and get started by registering for a spot in my free masterclass, How to Transform Your Moody Hormonal Teen into a Compliant, Respectful Human Being. Start with my free masterclass. It's filled with insights and tips, and you have to register to get your spot. And if you're here on Instagram, type support below and I will get you that link. I want to thank you so much for watching. I want to thank you for your desire, for your wonderful, courageous intention to create change in your relationship with your teen. And I want to let you know that it is possible. We're just not going to do the everything all at once buffet method anymore. And I want to help you go deep and narrow so that you see the transformational results that you deserve, that you're working hard for. And you have the support, the personalized support, to not only see that change faster, but enjoy lasting change over time. So it actually does get easier. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks for being here in the village on Facebook. I will see you all again next week, and I'm certain I will be healthier by then. Bye.